Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Eating While Broke. I'm your host, Coline Witt, and today we have very special guest, creative producer, screenwriter, Danielle Solomon's in the building.
Hey.
And most of you guys know her from Hey Boo. Now you can watch that on Peacock and Tubi.
Yeah.
And a very well-known show on Bounce called Mind Your Business.
Mind Your Business, yeah.
Mind Your Business, which is a hit show on Bounce right now.
Yep.
So before we get into tea on everything screenwriting and creative production wise, let's get into what you were eating long before the accolades.
So this is pork and beans and cheese. I consider this a Daniel's delicacy. That's my grandmother's family. I don't really know people that like combine pork and beans with, cheddar cheese. Like I would go out to places because we usually eat this for breakfast. Mm-hmm. And I would go out to places and I look at the menu. I'm like, where's the pork and beans and cheese? So I'm thinking it's just my family that does this.
Definitely. I didn't even know that was a breakfast thing.
But yeah, we used to eat this for breakfast. Sometimes we'd have like other things like eggs, grits, but sometimes it would be just this, bacon and a biscuit.
Bacon and a biscuit is some pork and beans. Now, I was talking best before the camera started rolling, so go ahead and tell everybody the difference between pork and beans and baked beans.
So pork and beans, it doesn't have that like sweet taste like the baked beans, like the Bush or whatever type of can. So yeah, it doesn't have that sweet taste, but it says tomato sauce. So yeah, I feel like that's the big difference. Yeah.
Well, let's go to Brokeville. And so when we got the dish with the ingredients, I said pork and beans. And then I was like, okay, do baked beans come with hot dogs? And then I said, where is she talking about pork and beans? And then lo and behold, there is a can in the world that says pork and beans. And so now we are the proud owners and recipients of a dish that I can honestly say I don't think I've ever had.
Yeah, I think it's just my family that does this because like every time I go out, I'm from Virginia, but my family is from North Carolina.
Okay.
And I feel like we're the only ones that does this for breakfast.
None of your friends did it?
No, that's why I'm like, I don't think it's like a known thing.
And then she's dropping the cheese. So your dish is essentially like $3.
Yep.
It could feed at least 3 to 4 people. Mm-hmm. And cheese is the most expensive dish.
Yep.
The expensive ingredient in it, I see.
And it's protein because you got the beans.
And it's protein. Oh, you trying to say that this dish is considered healthy?
The protein counts for something.
I love the optimisticness.
The protein counts for something. So yeah, we're going to turn this up.
So either this is a family tradition or you guys were really struggling at some point and you guys did not know.
My grandmother got it from her mom. So and her mom had 10 kids. So maybe, yeah.
Oh, this is like your grandma, you said? Your grandma's mom was struggling. She passed the tradition on, which is a beautiful tradition. I'm just in a joking mood, but I love this dish because I love to say the broke with the dish, the better the story.
Yeah.
But in your case, this is a household tradition.
Yeah, we thought this was like something. Like it was up there with grits.
Wow. When was the last time you had this?
Probably when I was back home in Virginia. I think my grandma made some or my mom made it. Yeah. I usually have it when I'm back home. So.
You be like, yo, you guys got the pork and beans ready? No, I'm genuinely curious. Like, you like, yo, that's what we eat. Yeah, you look forward to it.
Yeah, you need this with some eggs. Like, if I want like a big breakfast, I get this with some eggs.
Eggs on the side or in it?
Eggs on the side.
Okay.
Yeah. Bacon, biscuits, or toast, or sausage, and then maybe some grits. It just depends.
Okay. Well, yeah. Take me back to before the last home visit, way back. And I don't want to talk smack about this because, guys, I totally respect these dishes. I'm just in a very playful mood right now. We was all eating this cheese. You know, God bless our stomachs, because we was between Jared and I, we was chomping, right?
Yeah, after this, you might, get a good cleaner.
Yeah. So go ahead. Tell me what was going on way back. Not recent home visits.
Way back in Virginia. Well, I was a product of a single mother, so we did spend a lot of time at my grandma's house. We used to live there practically for most of my life. So it used to be 6 of us at a time in a 2-bedroom, 1-bedroom house. So
Wait, how many kids?
Just me and my brother.
Okay.
And so it was me and my brother, my mom, my uncle, and my grandparents.
Okay.
All in one house.
Oh, yeah. So you all lived together.
Mm-hmm. For the most of my adolescent years, we all stayed in the same house in Newport News.
Okay. And then your mom was working a lot of jobs, or?
Mm-hmm. I think at the most, she probably worked like 3 jobs, which is probably where I get it from.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. 2-parent household. Where was Pops? I mean, non-2-parent household.
I don't know where he was at, but I mean, I ain't gonna say he wasn't around. Like at one point we were living together, but we really didn't have like a relationship with him. Mm-hmm. So he was around, he was in the area, but we didn't see him.
You guys didn't see him at all, really?
Mm-mm.
But y'all knew who he was.
Yeah, we knew who he was. Yeah, and he knew who we were. So,
and that was that.
That was that.
Did your mom ever speak on it?
She tried not to like really talk bad, like down on him. Even my grandma, like they never try to talk down on him. Like we knew what it was. Like they ain't have to say nothing because it was, action speaks louder than words. So, yeah.
Did you ever have a longing for him or anything?
You know what? I grew up in a house where like, even though we didn't have much, felt like I didn't really miss as much. And then I grew up in like an area where a lot of people like had come from similar situations. So it was like, it is what it is. It wasn't until I got older, then I'm like, oh, okay. When I seen other people, they had their 2-parent households, different things like that. Like, okay, I did miss out on something. But when I was growing up, it wasn't really like something at the top of my mind, for real.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good to know. So you're growing up with a family full of love, eating pork and beans. And somewhere along the journey, you aspire to be on the other side of the television box. Mm-hmm. What sparked that inspiration?
So my uncle, he used to have like this huge collection of DVDs in the living room, mostly like Black cinema, like the Spike Lee's, Best Man, all that different type of stuff. And that was kind of like I would consider my intro to like cinema. Mm-hmm. And I didn't know at the time that I wanted to like get into film and TV. I knew I wanted to do something like in the arts and in that world, like, because I used to draw a lot and different things of that nature. But that was kind of like my early film school, because I watched all the films that you could think of. Mm-hmm. Some of the films I probably ain't had no business watching, like Players Club, all that type of stuff, Ice Cube movies. And yeah, that was kind of like my early introduction to like film and different things of that nature. And we also used to watch like UPN with all the sitcoms back in the day. I used to go back and watch 90s sitcoms with him and my mom and different things that would come on television.
Would you say that it wasn't just like what you're watching, but the good vibes of what it was doing to your family, like a family pass hour?
Yeah, it kind of like brought us together. Like we would all get in the living room like on weeknights and watch like The Parkers or 101 and different things of that nature. So yeah.
At what point do you start to say, I like this enough to pursue it or even think it's a viable option?
So in middle school, I went to like this, it had like this arts/communications program. And then we had like our own like studio where we used to do like the morning announcement. And we used to do like different shows, and it was an actual class too. Mm-hmm. So I feel like that class, out of all of my classes, I really like. And like, we used to do a lot of different things in there, and I'm like, this is kind of what I want to do. Like, I didn't really care about going to math or other things. I wanted to do this.
Did you start sharing these feelings with your family?
Yes. And they were pretty much, just go for it, whatever you want to do. Like, they wasn't like discouraging, like, oh no, you need to do this. Like, they were pretty much supportive.
Go get you a job.
Yeah.
But did they make you kind of lean towards college?
Yes, it was either college or the military because it was a big like military area in Virginia, and I chose college because I was not going to the military.
Was any of your family members in the military?
A lot of people.
Not your mom though.
No, not my mom.
Okay. So, by the way, this is looking very gooey and good.
Yeah.
Like, is that what it's supposed to look like? It looks pretty good.
Yeah, I think we got, it's not as quite as my grandma's, but we got a good consistency going. And I think all
Do you ever
the
eat this with
cheese is
crackers?
melted.
I feel like this would go good with like some saltines.
No, we used to just eat this for breakfast.
It looks good.
Yeah.
I can see the cheese and the tomato sauce going well together.
Yeah, I think it's about done.
Look at you.
I think all the
Making
cheese
grandma
is melted.
proud.
Hold on, let me check. Because I don't want you to get no big chunk of cheese.
I don't mind it. I was eating chunks before we started. I had like 15 chunks in my cup.
You can use this because it's like a little...
You need a bowl? Here, go ahead. So you decide, hey, I'm going to pursue this. I'm going to go to college because military seems like a possible dead situation.
Absolutely not. I was not going to the military.
That's good. And so you go into college, and then what are you majoring in college?
So, in high school, I did like a lot of like reporting, sideline reporting, and different things of that nature. So I kind of like, let me go the journalism route. So I my concentration was journalism, but my major on my degree, it says degree in media journalism and film. Because we took like all different types of classes.
Okay. At what point during this are you like, okay, where did you go to school, you said?
Howard.
So come on, sit, pull up a chair. We're going to do a taste test on this. Cheers. Let's try this together.
I don't want to burn my mouth. Hold on.
You're right. It's not really baked bean-ish. But there is a little sweetness to it.
Yeah, it's a little bit, not a lot.
I'm trying to see if I could taste the cheese. But I feel like I can't, but I can feel the texture of cheese. Am I tripping?
Nope.
For all y'all at home, I highly do not recommend this dish. This is a 3.5 out of 10.
Not a 3.5.
But I will say, if you are starving and you need a filling meal,
that's gonna fill you up.
Yeah. It's like a cheese aftertaste. And you eat this all the time.
Growing up, yeah.
It's not terrible. But on all the eating while broke dishes.
This is broke. Eating while broke.
What I like about this is the first time we've had it, and I almost hooked you up with baked beans. I promise you, if you go in the back kitchen, there's a can of baked beans. Thank God. Some part of me was like,
no.
Where does the pork go in?
For baked beans, I need an oven.
This is a one and doneers. But I love that you came with this dish because it's unique and it's broke. We've had guests that come on and they have like, somehow they've tallied up $100 grocery bill. And I'm like, I think you missed the mission.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
No. Like I said, it was 6 of us in the house. We had to,
make it work. So you decide to major in media, film, broadcast.
Journalism, yep.
And from there you graduate. What's your next play?
So senior year, I would
try to get as close to this.
I would go back to like maybe like junior or senior year, maybe sophomore year. I don't know, it's all a blur. But I decided I didn't want to do journalism anymore. But it was too late in my matriculation to change my major. So I started taking like playwriting classes in the fine arts school and screenwriting. I took that later my senior year, and I was like, you know what? I just want to get into like the entertainment side and not the news side. So like I would skip classes to go PA on different television specials in DC. I would just try to like find different things to do, intern, and that kind of like got me into wanting to do more of the entertainment side. So like my senior year, I just got it. I was trying to get into this program called HBCU to LA, where you like get an internship and they provide housing and you like work with like either Disney or like I had interviewed with Disney on BET, didn't get not one internship from them. And so then I was like, I think I was sick one day in my dorm and I was just scanning through the channels because we didn't have cable. So I was just scanning through the channels trying to find something to watch. And I came across Bounce.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, what's this? It kind of reminded me like of the early 2000s UPN type of vibe. So I looked them up. And so I just sent the email to a random general Bounce email and HR responded. It was like, hey, you want to come to Atlanta for an interview? I was like, oh,
what kind of email did you send them?
I was just basically saying, hey, I just came across your network, just saying, you know, all the things that I'd done and what I was interested in. And it was like, okay, you want to come down to Atlanta for an interview? Because they had a internship program. So they had like different college students a part of their internship program. I was like, sure. And I was like, oh, shoot, I'm going to get to Atlanta. So I just used my work study money and bought a flight and flew down there for like a day. And
did you tell your family about this?
Yeah.
Okay.
I flew down there for like a day and did the interview. And then when I came back, they said I got it.
And then were you like, oh my God, how am I going to live over there?
Yep.
So what'd you do?
I took all the money that my family and family friends gave me from graduation. I think my granddaddy and my Uncle James gave me some extra money on the side.
Shout outs to them.
Yeah. They got me a train ticket because I couldn't afford a flight. So they got me an Amtrak train ticket from DC to Atlanta.
But how are you going to survive in Atlanta?
So I was able to find a place. That kind of fell through. So I wasn't homeless. I was of a home. And so I knew somebody down there. And it was like, hey, just come stay with me and we're going to figure it out. So I went and stayed with them. They had a friend that was staying in like this off-campus student housing. And she was like, yeah, just pretend like you me for the summer and you'll be fine. So that's how I pretend like I was her for the summer. And I stayed in her off-campus housing.
Oh, there was a term you used in there. You said you weren't homeless, but you were what?
I was of a home. So
of a home.
So I just slept on a couch. And
that's hilarious. Yeah. I love that. I love that. I just wanted to...
Yeah, I wasn't on the street, but I was in somebody else's home. It wasn't
okay.
my own.
And they looked out. That's cool. You didn't have to break her off anything? She just looked out?
No, she just said, like, look, I ain't trying to stay here. You can pay me, like, I think it was like $700 a month. And I was only there for like 2 months. So I just gave her, like, the money so I could stay in her room in her little suite that she had. It had like a kitchen and living room and everything. And I think she only had like one other roommate on the other side. I think the other two were like gone for the summer.
Oh, so it was a sweet little deal. So for 2 months, what happens once the 2 months are up though? So
the 2 months was up. The internship was up. But I did have a conversation with, I did have a conversation with my direct report, like the boss I was working for, about, you know, wanting to come back if they had any opportunities. So I would say maybe around September, I came back to Atlanta as a temp for the department. It was the original programming department. And that temporary position was only supposed to last until February. Before February could come, they offered me a full-time position.
Oh, nice. So then you're officially in Atlanta.
Yep.
And your family's singing praises and everything. You're excited.
Yep.
So then what happens from there?
Just grinding, trying to learn everything. One thing that my boss at the time stressed was I get to know every department head, everybody that work in the department. So I spent most of my internship trying to learn the different departments and how they work with our department, not just, you know, staying isolated. So it was a lot of that and just working on different shows. At the time, they didn't have like a big post-production department. So I was helping out with post. I was reading scripts and different things. And yeah, just grinding it out, getting up early, catching the bus, then catching the train so I can get to Buckhead.
So at what point does Mind Your Business come into play?
So Mind Your Business come in 2022. Yeah, 2022.
It happened before Hey Boo or?
It happened after Hey Boo. After I
So
got Hey
that's
Boo.
what I'm saying. So, but Mind Your Business is with Bounce, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, okay. So, no. I don't want to skip over.
Okay.
So then go Hey Boo first.
Okay, I'll go Hey Boo. So while I'm in Atlanta, I really didn't know a lot of people there. So I mainly just like in my free time, try working on my craft and different things. And then I was applying to all of these fellowships, Disney, NBC, like they all had these fellowships and then the smaller fellowships. And then I came across.
What's a fellowship?
So a fellowship is basically they take a group of writers, they bring them in, you do different workshops. Sometimes it's paid, and you just, get like immersed into the whole writing side of things on that level. And then after the fellowship, you should have something like already like finished, or you're developing something, or you can like use whatever you worked on as a sample to get staff on like a show. So that was like what I really wanted to do, instead of like going like the writer's PA route and going to, writer's assistant. I wanted to like get into a fellowship. So I just kept applying, got rejected every year by all of them. And then I started applying to like smaller ones. And then I came across Heartbeat. I applied 1 year. I didn't get it. And I think that was the first year. And then the second year, I almost forgot about applying to it until a coworker told me like, hey, are you going to apply to this Heartbeat fellowship? I was like, oh yeah. And I kind of put it off. And then it was like, the deadline's here. So I hurried up and like wrote a script, and that's what I submitted.
And then they accepted it, and how did it work?
So basically they narrowed it down to people that they wanted to interview. So I did an interview with the one of the co-founders of the program, Candice, and also the program manager, which was Jennifer at the time. And so we did an interview, and then after that kind of was just waiting to see. And then I remember like it was like before my birthday or either on my birthday, Jennifer had called me. She was like, hey, so what is your schedule looking like for this and the third? I'm like, like, why would she be asking that? And so then I think like the day before my birthday, I found out I got the fellowship.
Nice.
Yep.
How long was the fellowship?
The fellowship was for a year, but the writer's strike kind of like cut that year a little short. So yeah.
Okay. So then what happens from there? Is this when you start to think about Hey Boo?
So Hey Boo was with the fellowship.
Hey Boo was what you submitted.
Yeah, Hey Boo was what I submitted, and it just after that, it probably went like through a couple of rounds of notes with them, and then the director Logan, and after that they went to shooting it. So I came out here for that shoot. I was flying back and forth a lot from Atlanta to LA for my job, and then for Hey Boo and different things that they wanted to do with the fellowship. And once Hey Boo was shot, I was working on a show at Bounce called Act Your Age. We were on set. And me and one of my coworkers, we were talking about, okay, we got Act Your Age, but like, what else are we going to be working on? Like, what's going to be like the companion show to this? Like, what other programming? And so we was like, okay, let's start brainstorming and thinking of, a show to go with this, or to like air after this, so we have something, in the bank.
And this wasn't a part of your job, right? This is something.
So I was on the development team, and Act Your Age was sort of kind of developed in-house. So we do develop ideas in-house and just outsource to like a production company to, bring it to life. So like it was kind of a part of my job, but like really taking this initiative was kind of above my pay grade. But we was like, hey, we need something to do. Cause
we need a job.
Yeah, we need a show.
Once this reps.
And then just going back to like getting to know different departments, like they were saying like, like the older sitcoms are performing well, like on the streaming platforms and on our fast channels. Like it would be nice if we could get something of that same, wheelhouse. So we put our brains together, and that's how we came up. Well, it was called Family Affair before it became Mind Your Business.
Yeah. And then you pitch it.
Yeah, so we pitched it to, I made sure all the team was on the call. It wasn't like a certain interview. I was like, I want the whole original team on the call. And I need, I pulled people to the side, I need you to back me up on this. And so we pitched it to them. They loved it. And so our next step was to find a writer to write the pilot episode. And if the pilot episode, the script was good enough, then they would greenlight it.
And when they greenlight it, what does that mean? Like you sold your first show?
Yeah, it basically means you go on a series.
Yeah. what was that experience like for you?
So when they did greenlight it, I was no longer at Bounce. I left Bounce to go to Fuse because, I was now out here living in LA. Mm-hmm. And at the time, I was just a senior coordinator at Bounce. Mm-hmm. But the money that I was making was more so affordable for Atlanta in that LA. Mm-hmm. And then there were a whole bunch of layoff talks. So I was like, I need to find another way to make more money. And this is not it. So I left Bounce to go to Fuse, and I also left to really go ham on my writing, and then that's when the strikes happened.
So, but you were also doing the Heartbeat Fellowship.
Yeah, the Heartbeat Fellowship, Sundance, that all happened.
Ooh,
yeah.
So you got a lot of
overlap.
A lot of overlap. So when you leave, they still have the rights to buy Mind Your Business?
Yes. So when you work for a network and you pitch ideas internally, they own the idea. Yeah.
Womp, womp, womp.
So.
Womp, womp, womp. I can't.
They own it.
Because you pitched it while you worked.
An employee, yeah.
So if you would have left and then pitched it.
Then I would own it.
So they own it.
Mm-hmm.
Ain't that some shit?
But that's the whole point. I feel like that's the reason why they really wanted to do the show, because they're like, okay, we got this internal idea that we can hold on to and we can, take out and license. They don't
but
have to
it ended up being a top show for them.
Yep.
So knowing that, is there a part of you that thinks also that maybe you walking in some of the talks or the rhetoric that was going on could have, because if you would have stayed as an employee, what would you have gotten after pitching that show? Nothing?
Nothing but working long hours on the show and still making my salary.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know if that should be allowed. For real.
It is kind of twofold. I know certain networks, they may break you off a little something extra it just depends on the network.
You gave them more than what they invested in you, basically.
Yeah.
And you're cool with that? Or how do you feel about that?
So I was a little salty because it was I was supposed to, when I left the company, we had conversations before hey, you can come back as a consultant. This is your show that you created. And that didn't happen because of budget cuts and the strike.
But it's also one of their top performing shows.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I would be super salty.
Yeah. So I just look at it this way. If I can create that show, I can do another one. So I'm past it now.
Yeah.
But at the time, I was very salty.
Yeah, I'm still trying to get past it. But
I was very salty. But
I think that's messed up, man.
Yeah.
And I would be complaining for at least 6 months.
And then it was this whole thing about my created by credit. I'm well, in my employee agreement, it said any idea y'all own. It didn't say nothing about me not getting my proper credit.
Did they give it to you?
Yes, they had to give it to me because one of the executives that was there when I was there at the time, he made sure when we signed the writer on to write the pilot, he said, hey, all 3 of these ladies are getting created by credit. Put that in the agreement.
Are the other 2 ladies there still?
One is there. The other one was a contract work for hire. So she wasn't a full-time employee with the
Y'all just
network.
giving up your gold. Okay, got it.
She wasn't. So she was just hired on to be the writer and work on the show, be executive producer and all of that. So,
well, shout outs to him for fighting for y'all.
Yeah. So I appreciate JJ for doing that because if that wasn't there, they probably would have found some way to not give us our credit.
Yeah. So then you're over at Fuse. What's happening in that Fuse land?
So Fuse was unscripted, which was, I did unscripted at Bounce, but Fuse was a different type of unscripted. So I'm glad I did get that experience and work on different shows. One of them was Big Freedom Means Business, Sex Sells. We had a sports show.
Sex Sells with Wheezy?
Yeah.
I love Wheezy.
Yeah. We had a sports show called Like a Girl. That was cool to see come because we kind of revamped the show while I was there. And so that was cool to see that come to fruition. And it was a different type of shows. We did branded content. That was my first time experience with working that in depth with branded content. We was exploring different content.
When you say branded content, what does that mean?
So let's say
Heinz.
This company, I don't want to say it out loud, decided they wanted to sponsor, this segment of me cooking.
Yeah.
The pork and beans and cheese. That would be branded
content. Mm-hmm. Damn, go Fuse. I wanted to get Eating While Broke on Fuse at one point. I don't think they wanted us, but But yeah, they have some good content. Like I said, they got Sex Cells, which is pretty good.
Yeah.
So. And that's a top show for them, right?
Yeah, and I used to watch like the uncut versions before they had to edit it for it.
Oh,
yeah,
for real?
so yeah. It's very, but it was very interesting too.
Yeah.
Like I think it's a good concept.
It's a great concept.
Yeah.
Great. Shout outs to Weezy. I love her. Super, super cool chick. So you're at Fuse. What's the next play?
I was still trying to pursue my writing, but it was kind of hard being like post strikes and a lot of shows not renewing and like different opportunities, and then the whole like representation, having issues with them, like, hey, can you give me some rooms? Because like I was like using my network to like get meetings and trying to get my stuff read. And so I was like, okay, maybe I could just write the full-length film of Hey Boo and try to, get back into Heartbeat. So I started like ideating what I wanted the full-length version of Hey Boo to look like and start writing. And so now I have a shopping agreement with Heartbeat. The time is winding down, but I'm trying to get it somewhere at some studio, streamer, whoever wants to take it on. But yeah, that was kind of like my thing of trying to get Hey Boo, trying to update some of my other scripts so when those meetings do come in, I could, be prepared.
So how do you get it at Peacock and Tubi?
So Peacock and Tubi was all through Heartbeat.
Okay.
That's what their whole arrangement was, as far as like distributing the films and that stuff. So we wasn't really involved in that part. It just said, oh, it's going to be on Peacock. And then one day I was at home and I was on Tubi and I saw it on Tubi. I was like, oh, it's on Tubi too.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
And then what do those checks kind of look like from that standpoint?
I only got paid once by Heartbeat, and that was for the script. Then for the fellowship. Yeah, it was like a stipend.
But they don't own it, right?
They own Hey Boo.
This kind of sucks.
But this is the industry.
What though? I love that you're sharing this, because I think that we all think, okay, we created something, we land this big deal, and there's this huge payout or whatever. But this definitely has to be like the most roller coaster of emotions ever.
Yes.
But it's also confidence boosting, because you're obviously a creator that's able to sell amazing content that's getting picked up and streamed. The question is, how do you demand your worth on the other side, right?
You just gotta be, what's the word that I can use for it? You just gotta be on it. You gotta make sure your representation is on it.
Did you have representation on both of these accounts?
No, I got Hey Boo and did my own business all by myself. I didn't get representation until after the fact. Yeah.
And then, Hey Boo, you did after the fact too. Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. So I say this, like, I mean, representation is good to have, but it's more so knowing people. Like, if I wasn't working within the network, I probably wouldn't have been able to pitch the show in 2022, and by, I want to say 2024, it's airing on television. And that's because we were working at the network and trying to push it through. And I was on my boss like, hey, we got disapproved, legal, So I feel like I had an advantage when I was at the network to able to get stuff like greenlit. Because that wasn't the first show that I pitched and got like a green light. The other one I pitched was a game show, but it died in like the upfront. So I kind of was familiar with how the process worked. But with this one, like, I had the other departments backing me up. So I felt like that was my advantage. And yeah, I didn't really need representation because I was already in the system.
But do you think that was a plus or a negative? Because on one end, it's a plus because it got your stuff pushed further, and you know what they're looking for on both sides of the camera now, right? So you could consider yourself like a double threat, triple threat, right?
Right.
But on the downside, there's a little bit of, for lack of a better word, it just seems like a little bit of a dog eat dog because of the affiliation of the network. Yeah. So it's you win some and you lose some. So you just gotta take into account like, hey, you need to get a credit. So how are you gonna go about getting that credit? You get that credit, that'll take you up a notch. So when you do go out on your own, at least you have something versus than having nothing. Yeah. So I wasn't trying to cut you off. Oh, no, go ahead. what would you say is your next play after everything you've learned?
After everything I learned, my next play,
friend.
I'm sorry, y'all. I'm not used to doing interviews. It's been a minute. My next play is I'm looking at how these content creators are getting on TikTok and YouTube shorts and stuff and just posting like not random stuff, but it's not like, you know, a big budget production, and they're getting the brand deals and they're getting the views and they're building their audience. So I feel like my next direction as far as like going the indie route, I'm looking more so into content creation and creating stuff for social, because I know that's where the younger people are. Older people are on it. If you put it on Facebook, you know, they're going to eat it up. So that's kind of like my next route. That way I can develop my own IP and own it. So when somebody do see it and they want to pick it up, it kind of be like a similar situation with like Issa Rae and Awkward Black Girl and stuff like that. But
now during the Issa Rae era, I don't know if the algorithms were as algorithmy as now. Because like sometimes we could post and it's like we'll have a good 6 months and then we'll have a 6 months of what is wrong?
Yeah.
Like, you know, and I don't think it's the content. I think it's more so the algorithms at this point.
It's
they keep changing them around.
Yeah, you could say that. You could also say it's oversaturated, but I also feel like, you know, if you do have something that you want to put out there, you know, now is the time to just put it out there versus waiting, and then if somebody do come along and they're like, oh, we want this, and you sign your rights away from it because you don't really have much leverage in the game versus, you know, building your own audience and, you know, going the indie route. That's what it's looking more like now, given the state of the industry.
Yeah. So you're still doing screenwriting though?
Yeah. I still write. I'm still trying to push Hey Boo out there.
But I don't understand, if they own it, why would you still want to push it?
Because we do have like a shopping agreement between each other, so I can't take it out. I have permission to take it out to pitch to different streamers and studios. Yeah. So that's what my main thing is, trying to get it made into a full-length film. That way, you know, it's another credit under my belt. Money, all that type of stuff. And
so you could kind of take it out right from under there.
Yeah. I could take it out now that I'm under the agreement. But like once the agreement is up, then we have to go back to the table like, hey, we need a little bit more time so we can get it somewhere.
Wow. Wow. That's a lot of pressure. Do you have friends that pitch you on you looking over their pitches a lot?
Yeah.
How does that feel?
It feels good that they trust me to look over their stuff. You know, I don't try to be too hard on them because I know like how it feels to be on the other side and be a creative, and, you know, you're sensitive about your art. So I try to be as nice about it, but also tell them like, hey, this not going to work, or you may want to go back and look at this. But they do come to me a lot with like different pitches or ideas they think I should do. So, yeah. And
you're open to all of that. What advice do you give to people now knowing everything that you learned about the industry? And get close with this mic, your friend.
Pick up your phone and shoot something.
Wow.
Just pick up your phone and shoot something, and you never know what it can become. You might not even post it, but just, you know, getting it out there, like putting it out there, getting it out your head and something that you can see visually, I feel like it helped. Like, I just go back to the moment where I was at Sundance in the theater and my name popped up, written by Danielle Solomon. I was like, oh, wow, it's out there.
Yeah.
So, like, even if nobody else see it or you show it to your family, or, like, just pick up your phone and shoot something. It don't have to be too much. It could just be, like, a short, or it could be, like, a little skit that you post or you don't post. It's just getting that practice in and just building something. I feel like if you get in the habit of doing that, because it's good to just write and watch TV and study it, but it's also good to actually, like, film something.
Get in the process. And in regards to like joining the bigger companies like Heartbeat, Bounce, Fuse, and all of that, what do you feel knowing what you know now?
Like joining it as a creative?
Yeah.
It wouldn't be my first stop. My first stop would be trying to build my own audience. That way I can leverage myself more when I go to those big
You think
platforms.
Getting a bigger audience is more important than getting the credits? This is just a random at this point in the game.
For me, yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a big statement.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I agree. I feel like everything's going the social media route, but there are theories that they're saying like that social media may end, which I'll be honest, like the day social media dies would probably be one of the happiest days of my life. Because everything is surrounding it. It's like but it's also very controlled by the who's of who's, you know. I heard that when Trump got elected, everyone ended up following him. I don't know if I don't think I ended up, but you know, like they said that like if you went on your feed, you'd see that you follow him now. I was just like, I mean, how can we trust something that's so like listening in, you know, like you say cat food around your phone, you're getting cat food, and you know, like you have, say you're following 10,000 or 2,000 friends, you're only seeing like 10 of your friends' stuff.
Yeah, I was reading something about Tyler Perry in his early days and how he had like an email list. I feel like social media is a good start, but it's not like a stop. Like you try to figure out how you can stay connected with your audience beyond that. Maybe you do like a live show or something, or if you in the comedy, do like a little improv type of thing. But I feel like social media is a good start, but it shouldn't be the stop.
Yeah, I tell a lot of people when I do a lot of event marketing, and I tell people all the time, like, social's cute, but at the end of the day, you want cell phone numbers and email addresses, because however that person uses that social, you cannot control the algorithm and you can't control the output. What you do need to know is that anytime you sell a ticket or promote something, that person needs to see that impression 6 to 8 times prior to making a purchase or prior to adjusting their schedule. So you got to figure out every way possible to capture those email addresses and phone numbers, because the real power lies in having that direct contact to phone.
Yeah, and a good example of that with Mind Your Business, it didn't really have a big marketing push compared to the other shows that bounced, and I noticed that. So I was like, So me and Danielle Dominique, the other co-creator of the show, we was like, okay, we need to drop this in our group chats. We need to tell our family members and different people to watch it, because they're not really pushing it out there.
Yeah.
And like you said, people need to see it at least 6 to 8 times. So our family was posting it, our alumni groups, and she was in a sorority. Her sorority was posting it and supporting it. And that's how I was able to become the highest original premiere ever in Bounce history, was word of mouth. And us telling people versus them putting together this whole marketing plan, because it didn't get the huge marketing rollout that it should have gotten.
Yeah. Yeah. Agreed. Wow, I've learned so much from you, Danielle. Well, thank you so much for cooking for us. I respectfully know it was like making mad jokes about your dish, but I feel like it was like a wealth of knowledge and full transparency on like a super rocky road that I can only imagine has been like really emotional. Yeah. Right, I think. Because I feel like I would have twitched a couple times.
Yeah, a lot of people would have crashed out by now, gave up, but it's like, what else am I gonna do if I don't do this? So,
are you getting emotional?
Yeah, right, a little bit. A little bit.
Why?
Because
I'm just curious. Yeah,
it's just been sorry. It's just been it's been a hard. It doesn't seem like it's been a long journey, but it's been a long journey, and it's been really hard. Just trying to, stay positive and stay on the right track, because it's easy to get discouraged. It's easy to feel like, you're never going to achieve anything. And I feel like because I was able to at least get something done, it's giving me the motivation to keep going. Like, okay, I was able to do this when I was in this position. I know I can do more now. So
what are the things that make you doubt yourself? Because I completely empathize with, like, at least you have these markers saying, I took an idea and I proven that I was able to land it, and other people were able to profit. But what was the thing that makes you feel like you constantly have to tell yourself to try again, or not give up, or not pivot?
I honestly feel like it's not me within. Like, I know I can do it. I can see it in my head. Like, I know, okay, this could be real. It's just like things that's out of my control, that I can't control, that kind of like makes me doubt myself. I'm like, dang, because they're not hiring, this show got canceled, this is a show I wanted to write on, you know, and things like that kind of like discourage me and make me doubt, like, okay, why am I doing this? But then it's like, I always remind myself, what else am I willing to do if I'm not doing this? That will make me content. That will not have me living in regret.
And what's the answer? Nothing?
Nothing. So it's like, I had no choice but to do what I'm doing. Try to keep going and pursuing it.
And then how do you manage your finances through that whole process?
I gotta work. Sometimes I gotta work jobs that's not as, you know, oh, I'm on set. Like, no, I'm actually doing customer service work.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's jobs that you ideally don't want to do. Like, and you never know with this industry. It's very unpredictable. Like, I got laid off at Fuse in January. So I've been just trying to hustle to try to, you know, keep up so I can stay here, because I don't want to leave here and not accomplish what I set out to do here before I go back home. So I was like, I have to, you know, find ways to make money.
Yeah. And I think that's the reality of it all. I personally hold down like 3 jobs right now, you know, and I tell people, like, only in LA you meet people that work a 40-hour job, get off Uber, and then they side hustle as babysitting, and that is the norm out here.
Yeah, that was me when I was at Fuse. I was working full time, and then I was working part time because, like, let me pay this stuff off, like student loans. That way I could take out another loan so I could do this short film or do another, you know, little animated something, some type of product of my own. So that was like my whole thing. I was like working to, you know, get stuff paid off so I can take out another loan to do, you know, my art. Yeah.
I think that God left these accolades at the right time for you to know, like, your hidden power, you know? Like, it has to be that. God's like, hey, I know this road looks rocky as hell, but don't forget, you know, you had this and you brought it to life. I think the greatest thing someone could ever do is be like an imitation of God. Like, you know, have a vision for something and create it and give it life. Like something that no one thought to exist, or you were just, you know, like bringing an idea to life to me is like beautiful, you know. But kudos to you.
Thank you.
Thank you for the vulnerability.
Yeah.
And I'm never, ever
eating pork and beans and cheese.
Ever eating pork and beans and cheese for breakfast. Please, Lord, please. No, I take that back, because, you know, you say something like that, and you're going to end up eating it. So, no, I take that back.
Take it back.
It's not my favorite dish. But like I say on this show, the broker the dish, the better the story. And this story was truly amazing and inspiring. And I love that you're vulnerable about it. Where can everybody keep up with Danielle Solomon? And I want to say support Hey Boo. I don't know if we should be supporting Mind Your Business. Should we?
Y'all can watch it if y'all want to. Watch the first season. I recommend.
The first season. I'm only hating because, you know, I feel some type of way.
Yeah, everybody do. But yeah, definitely support the first season. I mean, give it I'm not going to tell people not to watch it because, you know, it's Black people behind the camera, Black people in front of the camera. Okay. I don't want to take away from what they're doing. So,
is Bounce owned by Black?
No, Bounce was never owned by Black people.
Okay.
But
okay, so we just capitalizing off them.
Yeah. But I would say support them, like give it a chance, because we don't have that many shows, and the shows we do have are being canceled left and right. And
okay, so still support.
Yeah, I would say still support it, but mainly Hey Boo, because I'm still trying to like get the full-length version.
Hey Boo, okay.
Yeah, so you can watch that on Tubi and Peacock.
And every time you see like Kevin Hart, I'll be like, yo, Hey Boo, Hey Boo, Hey Boo was popping.
Hit up Kevin.
Yeah.
So he can get on his people, be like,
yeah,
let's get this somewhere.
Let's get it somewhere. Well, thank you so much for your time and feeding me baked beans. No,
not baked beans, pork and beans
and cheese. And like I said, y'all, this is a great filling dish.
It's not good when it's cold.
It's not. No, it's barely good when it's barely good when it's warm. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate you. And you guys better go out there and follow at Danielle Solomon. Is that?
Instagram is Danielle Michelle TV. TikTok Danielle Michelle Rice. I know it's all over the place, but yeah, TikTok and Instagram for sure.
Danielle Michelle TV.
Instagram, and then Danielle Michelle Writes TikTok.
Okay. You heard it here first. Peace out, y'all.
Peace.